to start in 60 seconds and I look like a blurry thumbnail from 2011. I can't teach in a void. The message is lost if the message doesn't have structure. I need structure. I need professional presence. If I cannot be seen, I must create vision. By force. Class, you are leaving the stream. I'm losing subscribers by the second. My professional reputation is DEAD.
All right, everyone, get ready. We are about to change how you see studio lighting forever.
Yes, there she is. Welcome back to my classroom. I wasn't trapped in the void. I was trapped in dull and boring presentation. This is day 4. Today, I am giving you the master matrix. Lighting, costume, and visual design are not optional. They are the survival kits that...
Okay, so I hope I'm not losing subscribers. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening from wherever you're tuned in across the globe. Welcome or welcome back. Okay, so hello mentors, hello students. How are we? How are we doing? How was last week? So mentors, if you're here, please help me copy the link, share to AFN, please. Let's invite the community to also join in, okay? Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Welcome or welcome back. Welcome. Okay, so who's as excited as I am? Because yeah, anytime I have to talk about storytelling, I am always super excited. So who is excited? Okay, so greetings. Okay, so from Soul Frames. Hi, Soul Frames. Soul Frames is saying 7 minutes late. Yeah, it's raining at my end, so it's, the network is networking. Okay, so hi Rose. That's Rose from International Studios, Rose International Studios. Hi guys, hi. Okay, so you guys begin to furnish us now. While we are waiting for others to join in, please begin to furnish us with all that you have learned so far. Drop your takes, drop your takeaways. Of course, I'll be reading and giving shout outs. Currently, I am in the chat, okay? I'm currently in the chat, so I'll be reading what's happening in the chat. Okay, so please just be telling me, what have you learned? Is there anything that has been confusing to you? Is there anything that has been eye-opening? Is there anything that has been insightful? Is there anything that has been valuable to you? Probably because I know that we are all traditional filmmakers, yeah? So we come from this background and, is there anything that has been a little challenging? Is there something that, you would love to share? Please drop it in the chats. I'm reading the chats right now. And of course, I'll be shouting out the early birds, those who came early, okay? I'm just giving 10 minutes for people to join in because I know we started just a bit late, not 10 minutes. It's not up to 10 minutes, but yeah. About 2 minutes more and then we'll get started. Okay, so tell me what you have learned so far. It's day 4, so day 1, day 2, day 3, and day 4. Okay, so we're going into day 4 right now. So what have you learned so far? Okay, so I'm seeing Soul Frames here. You guys, shout out to Soul Frames. If you're not yet following Soul Frames, go and check out Soul Frames. Support them, say hi to them when you're on their channel, say you came from here. Okay, shout out to Rose International Studios as well. If you're not yet connected to Rose International Studios, you need to do that. And of course, you know what to do when you're on that channel. Say, hey, I came from this live stream. Okay, so we have Mobola Productions. Hi to you, Mobola. Welcome. You guys are not typing. No, I'm not seeing anything that you have learned. Is it that you people have not learned anything? Haba, have I been talking to myself and not? I've not been communicating. You guys, tell me what you have learned. You guys go and follow Mobola Productions as well. When you're on that channel, you know what to do. Tell them you're from this live stream. Okay. The Reformers Art Institute. Hello to you. Hello. Okay, so go and follow Reformers Art Institute. You know what to do. Okay, go and say hello to them. When you're on their channel, tell them you came from this live stream. Okay, so there is African Sparktails. That's Mr. Danny, one of your mentors. Okay, so hope you're also following African Sparktails. Go and check African Sparktails out. Say hello to them in their comment section. Tell them you came from this live stream, okay? Morel Create AI. That's Auntie Morenike as well. That one of your one of your mentors as well. She's, she has been a darling. She's been with you all day today, right? So you guys, shout out to Moral Create AI. Hope you have followed her channel, right? And also show her some love. Tell her you're from this live stream. Okay, so yes, I think these are all the people that joined early. Remsen Entertainment, I see you. Okay, but you joined late though. But welcome, you guys. Show Remsen Entertainment some love as well. All right, so yes, we're jumping in now. I have given some time for people to join in, okay? So we're going to jump right in. I see your lessons. Okay, so I'll read these lessons and then we jump into today's class. All right, so yes, if my internet fluctuates, you guys, whenever maybe we are cut off for a bit, please wait. As long as our time is still on, I'll definitely come back live, okay? It's raining at my end, so the internet is internet. And so just in case, I had to put that disclaimer out. All right. So whatever happens, as long as we're still on time, our classes are supposed to be like 2 hours long. So anything that is within that 2 hours, definitely know that I'll come back live. Okay. All right. So that said, let me see what the Reformers Art Institute has learned. Learned a great deal. Learn to think first, build with AI, and create without limits. Check, you guys. That's beautiful. Moral Create, okay. Okay, let us start liking and following. Yes, please tell them. Okay, show love, people, show love. Yes, you hear that? I learned about tropes and I finally discovered that they are different from genres. Then I also learned that as a writer, characters are right. I love that. Check. It seems like it's only the Reformers Art Institute that attended these classes. They are the only ones that have something that they've learned. Hey, oh my goodness. It seems like this is the only person that will get an award. Okay, I'm taking note. So you guys know that you're on the race to internship, right? So if you like, don't show yourself. Be hoarding your knowledge. You don't want other people to learn, right? Okay, be hoarding your knowledge. Mobola Productions is saying one thing that really got to or stuck with from day one was nobody should lower your esteem. It's your story, your AI. The beginning of your story has to cover the problem. I love that too. Amazing. Check. And that's correct. Okay. So we have the 3 acts, and of course the beginning is the problem. You have to emphasize the problem. That's like the hook. Yeah, no taking away from it. Every kind of content must have a hook. That's where you establish whatever will be seen or solving throughout the whole, story. All right. So yes, the problem. I love it. At least now you know that. And then the Reformers is saying it's raining here too. Yeah, so I guess you understand what I'm saying. Okay, so it gives suspense. What gives suspense? Okay, so we have the Genesis joining, and Rose International is saying, I also learned that you must not have an antagonist for your story to be strong. Check. Yeah. Basically, when you decide to do that divide, protagonist, antagonist, whatever, usually we have been taught that, it's good versus evil. But what if it's good versus good, right? So it is just your agenda, whatever you want to project as your agenda. The thing about this, I think we'll be talking about it in today's class, yeah? The thing about this is most films are sponsored. Most films are sponsored, just like, agendas are sponsored, right? So you have a movement for climate change. You can get organizations to sponsor your story. You have an agenda for probably a kind of movement. You can get, someone else, an organization that believes in your agenda to sponsor that agenda. So it doesn't mean that every other person is wrong, right? So that's the whole concept. And I know it takes away from that good versus evil thing, but at the end of the day, it's all an agenda. It's all a programming. It's all basically about definitions. What do you, as the creator, as the storyteller, believe is good? What do you believe is evil? That's up to you to decide. Remember, the beginning, the middle, then the end. The end is up to you to say, this is how I want to end it, right? Okay, so Rose International brought up a very beautiful, lesson there. And yes, Remsen Entertainment is saying, I learned that you should think big and all characters are right. Check again. I love that. So yes, please, with AI, there is no restriction on budget. There is no restriction on, don't worry, we are getting into that already. Very soon, most of you will be introduced to some apps that we'll be using for our, for some of those, our TTS, TTI, and so on. Do you understand? You'll be introduced to that. Don't worry, very soon. So just hold off. Okay. So yes, you'll be seeing that you need to think big, because basically your story would only be as small as you think. Yeah. So we had a challenge throughout the week. We had our assignments throughout the week, the weekend, and I saw that a lot of people wasted time before submitting their assignments. You guys, you know that we are all busy. Yeah. So your mentors and myself, we're not expected to attend to you when you are ready. When we give you a task, please do your task immediately. I will not attend to you if you do not work within the time frame we have given you. A lot of people that submitted their assignments on time, I have given them direct feedbacks on their works. But seriously, if you do not get feedbacks, how do you learn? How do you improve? Right? Because a lot of you feel that what you're doing is right until someone else, another pair of eyes look at what you're doing before you see that, oh, okay, I can actually adjust and, make improvements. So please work within the time frame, right? So yes, please think big, like you have been told. Think big, don't go small, because whatever kind of world, whatever kind of story you want to create today is possible with AI, and I can brag about it. Okay. If you've not checked out the music videos on this channel, you need to take your time and check them out. Yes, we lost a couple of them, but I'm working to bring them back so that you can see the potential. Yeah, I have been working with illusions. I've been working with transformations. I've been working with, different forms just to push the AI a little further, to push it and see, how far can it go? And I can tell you that, yes, basically it all comes down to your own imagination, right? It all comes down to your imagination. Yes, you will learn about prompting very soon. So yes, with the prompting plus your knowledge and your vision, trust me, you can get anything out there. Whatever you have in your mind, no matter how skewed it is, you can actually bring it to life. But you need to know how to prompt, because the truth is some of these platforms are already, how do we call them? They are already programmed in a way that some things, you might type some things, and you will not get the result you are looking for. They will even ban that content if you type some things into some of the, some of these platforms. So on this particular program, you will learn how to maneuver and navigate. Do you understand? So don't be in a hurry. We're going to be covering all of that. Invite someone, you guys. We're only 12 on this chat, and we have how many people on that group? Please, please, please. I'm taking time now because I want to give some time for people to join in. Please don't let anybody miss today's class. Let's talk. Invite people. Send this link out. Invite people to join this live stream, okay? All right, so the Reformers is also saying, I also learned that as a writer, we have character Bible. Yes, we do. Yes, very important. Very important. The character Bible is just like, your regular Bible, or your if you're not a Christian, you probably have a Quran, or maybe another, whatever you call your principle, the guide for your whatever your belief system, right? So basically your character Bible is the belief system of your story. That is what will guide the story, so that whenever you feel like you're going off track, all you need to do is pick out a particular spot and insert it into the this and analyze, does this actually reflect the principle of this character? Does it actually reflect, do you understand? Because sometimes you'll be writing and you get confused. Am I really translating exactly what I intended to do with my story, right? Until you are able to get to that point, then no, you are actually not telling your story yet. Okay, so yes, you can actually have a character's Bible. I didn't really know that. Then AI isn't a cheap way to make stories, but a tool for me to leverage on. I do thinking after all. Check everything you said. That's correct. Okay, so Genesis Production is saying, I learned about tropes. Tropes is TROPE, not troops. Troops is different. Troops is like an army, right? So we're not talking about the troops, we're talking about tropes. Okay, tropes is for storytelling, and the difference between AI filmmaking and a normal filmmaking, and also learned that in the journey of AI filmmaking that we should always stress our character. Yes, even in your regular storytelling, you should stress your character. Yes, the whole idea, what is that thing that keeps your audience watching and engaged? It is the stress. It is that, it is that tension, the intensity of your story. How do you actually preserve that intensity? It is when you actually keep people engaged by showing them that, oh, there is a possibility that your character will get out of this problem, right? But your character must encounter problems. The challenges in your story is what keeps your story engaged. Oh my goodness, I love you guys. This is so amazing. There is so much to take on here, and I love it. I love it. I love it. Please keep it coming. Let's jump into today's conversation. Okay, most films are sponsored. Yes, they are. Most films are sponsored. It's either you're sponsoring yourself or someone else is sponsoring you. So yeah, if you go and check it out, you'd see. Ask yourself, what is the meaning of this story? Why is this story coming? When you watch all those Hollywood stories about sharks, taking over, what do you think it is about? Or piranhas, all those very weird fish, from the damned part of the waters, they just take over and they start killing humans. What do you think? Where do you think that came from? Right? Or probably flooding, like the flood takes over and then this man and his family has to rescue his family. But basically the story is about the flooding, right? Or earthquakes or all of that. Where do you think that comes from? Right? Someone is sponsoring those stories, and basically you need to start thinking like that as a storyteller. What are the agendas of some of these big corporations? How can I begin to create films around them to get them to sponsor my film? Yeah. Okay, so, and also learn about the process in writing a good story. Check. Thank God I have been waiting for this prompting. Yes, you will be getting it. Yes, think big, submit your assignments on time. Okay, so take that assignment, take that feedback there from Morel Create AI. That's Auntie Morenike from the group. Okay, that's your mentor for today. Okay, so you guys have done amazing. Please celebrate yourselves in the chat. I celebrate all of you, everyone who has taken time to learn, taking time to, practice what they have learned, who has taken time to, be part of this. I celebrate you. Please celebrate yourselves in the chat. Celebrate yourselves in the chat. Celebrate yourselves in the chat. All right, so we are jumping into week 2. This is week 2, you guys. And today we're talking about the engine of your story, characters and the visual world. So yes, we started talking about it last week. We already started. You already know about what propels your character, what makes your character interesting, what makes your characters, or your audience fall in love with your characters, remember your characters, so you already know all of these things. Now, one of the things, yes, let me talk about this just before we jump into every other thing, yeah? One of the things that I loved about some stories that were submitted during the weekend is the fact that they retained their authenticity. And when I say authenticity, it means that you do not lose your Africanness to the AI. Right? So one of the things that, when I was talking with Oladunis Productions about hosting this particular workshop, yeah, one of the things that I want to do is to get Africans to get involved. We are not necessarily taking this AI. Yes, it is a foreign tech, but it is how can we use this foreign tech to tell African stories? Right now, I'm not saying cage your mentality, cage your stories and all of that, but I'm saying, can we now begin to project Black characters, in the same way that Hollywood has been projecting their characters for long? Can we now have 007 that is a Black man? Can we now have Little Mermaid that is a Black lady without fear or favor? Can we now have, do you understand? That is one of the things. And I'm not saying this as a shade to anybody. Please do not misunderstand me, right? But this is one of the missions for me as an AI creator. And believing that, yes, these tools are created and marketed to us, but they are marketing it to us to use it to tell, basically, because most of these are not necessarily created, by us, right? So sometimes if you even prompt, create a woman for me, you are not likely to get a Black woman as your first prompt. Okay, you are not likely to get a Black woman as the woman that you ask, right? So I want us, that is why we are doing this, please. That is why, the reason I'm saying this, and I'm trying so hard, if you notice, I'm checking my words so that people do not misquote me and say maybe we are trying to push an agenda or something. No, I am not sponsored by anybody. I'm not trying to push any agenda. I am a storyteller, a filmmaker, by myself, and I have learned about this AI. But one of the things that I am conscious about is the fact that in the global space currently, whenever you are asked to be, in fact, there are a lot of AI competitions out there right now. They have put up to about 50,000, maybe 100,000 grand dollars, yes, to sponsor a film, AI film. You guys don't worry. As long as you're part of this community, you'll be getting those, what do they call them? The opportunities, yeah? But what I'm trying to say is this. Whenever you check those films, which films are actually winning? Which films are actually thought of as prominent films? Right? Africa is still in the inferior when it comes to these conversations. So I'm hoping that we will get people from this particular training, right, to take over. Right? That is what I'm saying in essence. I'm not saying don't create. If you want to start creating a white man story, that is okay. That is okay. Maybe because of the market, you want to sell fast and all of that. No problem. I'm not saying it is wrong. But I am commending those who still believe in, as I do, that our Africanness needs to be projected, even though we are using a foreign technology. I will end it at that. Okay? So cheers to those that I saw your stories and I loved them. So you guys will see that I commented on those ones. All right. So now let's move forward. The engine, the characters, and the visual world of your story. So we already talked about this. We started it last week. We have laid the foundation. Now it's time for us to go deeper. We have talked about the hook, the chaos, conflict, and twist. Okay, so you guys tell me, what is a hook? Chat. Let's go. Let's move fast this time. Let's move fast. Let's not waste too much time today. Hook. What is a hook? What do you understand by a hook? Chaos, conflict. Where does it fit? What is chaos, conflict? What does it do in your story? What is a hook? What does a hook do in your story? What does a hook do in your story? What does a chaos, conflict do in your story? I want you guys to jump in. Let's go fast. Let's do it. Let's have that ripple. Okay? Let's have that ripple. Please, fast. Let's go. Nobody is typing. It seems like they're not hearing me again. Am I still audible? Can anybody hear me? Or has my have you all gone off? Am I off? Okay. And then twist. Okay. So Oladuni's production is saying hook is what keeps the audience watching a film. It's basically what makes them interested in your film. Okay, yes. No wrong answers. Okay, let's see who else. Hook is a short clip from your story that is being projected first in order to grab viewers' attention. Check. I love that. Let's go. Do we all agree? If we do not agree, let's go. Hook is used to capture the attention of your audience. They find it hard not to watch. Check. Please, that is it. Let's go. Do we all agree? Nesa Production is saying hook is like a short clip from your movie. That's the preamble. A hook is an event. Chimezie Nwaorie. Let me just go with Chimezie, please. Hook is an event used in trapping an audience. Check. I love it. It is the process of keeping the audience attention in your film. Genesis Production says that hook. Okay, hook hooks the audience at first glance. I love that from the Reformers. I love that. Check. That is lovely. I love it. And Morel Create AI says stop scrolling. Yes, hook equals the stop scrolling moment. I love it. Okay. You guys, so we're going to play a game, right? I love it. I love the fact that we all understand this. So we're going to put this to a live test, okay? So who is online? If you're online, say I'm online. I want to see all the I am online so that we can play this game. I will know who is online so that I can call your name if you're participating. Who is online? Let me hear. I am online. I want to see the I'm online. Flood the chat with I'm online. I want to see all those who are online. Let's play a game. We're playing a live game now. About our story. We're playing a live game. Quick. Only Rose is online. Rose International is the only one online. Okay, so Neza is online. Okay. I see a lot of people online. Beautiful. All right, so this is the game. The game is called What If. The game is called What If. We're going to play the What If game, okay? How does this game work? How does this game work? So, this is it. I'm going to start with a sentence. Your duty is I'm going to start with a hook. The sentence is a hook, right? So your duty is to jump on that hook and make it worse. Your duty is to jump on that hook and make it worse. That is the game we're playing. It's called What If. And anytime you are writing, you will start with what if. Anytime, once you are dropping your own comment to somebody's comment, because I know we are plenty online, right? We're plenty online. So you will make sure you are tagging. You will say, I'm responding to so and so person, because maybe 2 or 3 of us might be responding to the same person, right? And, if we're responding to different people, the story will be different. So I want us to craft multiple stories from that angle. You already learned about hook, chaos, conflict, twist, right? So your duty now, I will start with the hook. I will start the first sentence, and anybody who is online, catch it. You will start with what if. You will write what if, and then you will tell your own story. You will tell your own story, okay? So you're going to add to it. But what you are adding, if what you're adding is not making the story worse, then you have not done the job, okay? I'm going to be reading out those ones that are really, really doing the work. Okay, so make sure you take your time, think about it, and come up with drastic twists and conflicts to make sure that your what if is really what if. Now, any genre is welcome, any kind of, use your own style, use your own thoughts, okay? That's going. Okay, so now that we understand, do we understand? I want to see I understand before I go. I want to see I understand before I give my first sentence. I want to see I understand. Yes, the job is, what if this happens? So let me give you an example first before we go. Okay, so if I start with the story of a man came home to his wife, that is all I give you. Your duty is to make it worse. You will start with, what if the wife was cheating on him? Then another person's duty is to make it worse. And she was cheating on him. What if she was cheating on him with, do you understand? And then the other person will say, but what if, so you must make it worse. Make it worse. Okay? Beautiful. All right, so we are going now. The first sentence we're going to start with, what if? What if? What if? What if a sailor came back into town and he discovered that it is no longer 2026? That is the sentence. That's the sentence. You guys, let's go. What if? Make it worse. What if a sailor comes back to town? The sailor has been offshore, right? And he comes back to town and it is no longer 2026. Make it worse. Let's go. What if? What if our brain? Let's make it worse. Let's go. Let me see how far we can go. Your duty is to wait. When somebody drops their story, you will take from that person's story and make it worse. You can respond to anybody. You are free to respond to anybody. You are free. You are free. Just pick anybody's, what if. Anyone that inspires you, pick their what if and respond to them. All right, so Oladuni's production is responding to me saying, and this sailor, what if he finds out that his wife had married his best friend? Whoa. Okay, so, but I gave you 26. I was directing the story somewhere. You did not pick from there. What if he came back to town and it is no longer 2026? So I don't know whether he went to the future. I don't know whether he went to the past. You didn't pick from what I ended with, though. Okay, so let me see. The Reformers Art Institute is saying, what if the sailor discovers the apes have taken over the town? In what year? Is it behind? Is it forward? You guys, should we start this thing again? It's like some people are not getting it, though. Okay, so Ellie's VTV saying, what if the sailor has died and not aware? Oh my God, I'm liking it. Okay, but you didn't pick up on the time. I actually decided to drop the time, 2026, right? What if he came back and he's not in 2026? Okay, so let's go. Rose International is saying, what if he also discovered that his generation has passed? So currently he's in the future. I like it. Rose is on point right now. You guys pick up from there, please. Let's pick up from Rose. What if he also discovered that his generation has passed? So what could be the chaos right now? His generation has passed. That means he's in the future, right? So let's pick up from there. What if he has seen that his mother was younger than the way he left her? Oh my goodness. So he's what? What do we say this one is now? He went back to the past where he was not yet born. His mother was younger. Oh my God, I'm liking it. Okay, so what if he's dead and his ghost is the one roaming? I'm liking it too. Oh yeah, let's go. What if a seller comes back to town and found out that it was no longer 2026, that the time or calendar reversed back to the former years he once lived? Please, you guys, pick up from Genesis. I think the Genesis productions are on point here. Okay, Genesis production is on point here. The calendar or time has reversed back to the former years he once lived. So somebody give us a time that he is now in. That means he has gone back to the past. What year would we give him now? Favorite art is saying, what if the sailor comes back to town and it's no longer 2026 and his wife and best friend have given birth to twins and are now 13 years old? Now he was about 15 years behind. Okay, so if he comes back and his wife and his best friend have given birth, that means he is actually, in the future and 15 years behind. So he has actually left, okay, I like it. But yeah, that's quite, complex. I like it. Okay, so replying to Rose, Moral Create is replying to Rose, what if in the future, but he is a merman, right? Oh my God. You guys are taking me in different directions. I like it. Okay. So let's keep this going. Right? So you guys can see, right, that we can actually all hear one story or see one prompt and interpret it in different ways, right? And Oladuni's production is responding to Rose International saying, what if he finds out that he was in 2050? Check. And was the odd one out. That already sets it up for like a beautiful, I've not seen, like, you guys, do you know what that would look like for an African time travel film, right? This is an African time travel film. I love it. Okay, so what if the next generation change the agenda and narrative? You guys, let's go. Okay, so let's keep this going. Let's keep the chat going with the what if. Okay, this is actually brilliant. I like it. So you guys can see that one prompt can actually birth a lot of chaos, a lot of stories, a lot of conflicts. As long as you can apply this what if, that is your secret weapon. So anytime you come across maybe a story, maybe you start a story and, we have given you different ways to get your stories, check your story, check your Ds, get your characters and so on. But just what if you are actually just, stuck? Why not play the what if game? Okay, so today we're going to be talking about, we have talked about the hook and the rest. You already that. The 3-act structure basically is about the beginning, the middle, and the end. And the beginning is where your hook resides. The middle is where your conflict and chaos resides. And the end basically is where your twist resides. So you already know that this is what we did last week. And then we talked about story tropes. We talked about the different types of tropes out there. The underdog, the from grace to grass, from grass to grace, and so on, right? These are some popular tropes. And if you look at them, a lot of them have been part of our, all the bestsellers, all the films that have won awards. Look at them. There is always a trope that they have been using for long. So especially if you're someone who wants to apply to festivals or you want your film to win an award, go and study that award and look at the kind of films that have been winning. What kind of tropes have they been exploring? What kind of tropes have been winning, right? So that you don't just create blindly. Okay, so world building, we have talked about time, place, mood, and so on. You guys, this is it. Okay, your first creative decision starts from the time, the place, the mood. As you can see in the charts now, as we are playing the what if, you guys can see that the timing also affects the kind of story. Someone who is going to the past, or someone who is in the future, or someone who is currently in this time, a lot of things will happen. Someone said, imagine what if he goes back to the time when his mother was younger, right? So imagine that particular story now already automatically tells you that, man, that would really be like, man, it's a sci-fi, right? I think I've seen it in one film that they call Lucifer, where I think the daughter of Lucifer and the police officer who Lucifer was dating, or who Lucifer fell in love with, right? Their daughter from the future had to come to the past to meet them, to to try to solve a problem. It happens, right? But we have not seen this type of Nollywood films. I don't know if you guys have seen it. I've not yet, right? So you guys, these are stories to be explored. That's why we're having this kind of conversation. Or imagine the person that said, okay, so the character goes, comes back in the future, and his previous wife and his best friend were already married, and they had twins, and the twins are already like 13 years old. That's like, they already considered him dead. So for some reason, there would really be a what do they call it now? There would really be like a lot of explanation. Why was he away? What happened? We should be able to explain it. This actually, if you understand the time, the place, the mood of your story, it actually influences your story. So we talked about this last week. Okay, so I'm seeing the Reformers says he has seen a film, maybe of time travel. I guess that's what he's responding to. And Day of Destiny. I'm not sure I've seen that now. I've not seen that film. But that's okay. That's amazing. So we should have more of it. It should not be scarce. I was hoping that more people would actually say they've seen such movies. So I'm hoping that we'd have more of it. Okay. So yes, like I was saying, what is the definition of hook? The hook is the opening that makes your audience live in. That is scrolling away, swiping away, impossible. You have 3 seconds. Actually, it is actually less than 3 seconds today. It is 0.5 seconds. You know how people, you yourself, you scroll on TikTok. If you just open it and the thing is not fine, you just swipe. If you just open it, so how many seconds is that? 0.5 or 5 seconds? It's not even up to. So let's say, here I created and I said 3 seconds. So you have 3 seconds to prove yourself, your film is worth watching. That is why you must hook your audience. Okay, start in the middle of something, whatever is happening. Somebody slaps somebody, hits someone, maybe an accident, maybe something. Just start. Okay, make sure you start. Don't start with gone are the days of our fathers and whatever, all those type of folktale, whatever. Now we don't need that today. Okay, start in the middle. So chaos is basically about the disruption that breaks the normal world and forces the story into motion. Okay, so your character woke up happy that day. Your chaos is going to make sure, the chaos that you create for that character is going to make sure that the character's day is just messed up. Right? Conflict is basically the external forces that force your character out of their comfort zone. The sustained force, external and internal, that prevents easy resolution, makes them wait for it. So basically the obstacles that will always confront your character. Then the twist is a truth that was always there, now finally visible. Plant it in Act 1. Remember this now. So even though you're going to end it anyhow, good, bad, or ugly, it is your duty to make sure that you have already planted it from the hook. Right? So maybe someone slapped someone for stealing a jewelry, and then it's only at the end that we'll get to see that the person they slapped was actually innocent, something like that. So your duty is to make sure. Okay, so the twist, you guys can see that. I'm just repeating it because we already touched on it last week, so I'm not going in depth. Okay, so yes, now let's talk about this. We talked about this already last week, about your character having their needs and their fears and so on. So their needs and their fears basically is, what does your character want? How bad do they want that thing? That is the internal truth that the story will force them to face. Usually it is the opposite of what they want. Okay, so what do they fear? That is basically their obstacle, what they will need to confront, what they will need to fight, right? The one thing that this character will do anything to avoid. The conflict must threaten them directly. Okay, so of course you know all of that. So yes, now okay, so we already did the what if, yeah, so we're not going to do the what if again. So we're going to continue that what if on the group until everybody gets it. All right, I think some people were not getting it, so we're going to continue on the group. But for now, let's talk about contrast. Yes, contrast is non-negotiable, you guys. Contrast is, so if you're here thinking, but how do I get my audience to be excited about my film? What if my film is not the one that they are doing bass? What if I want to tell a love story? What if, I'm playing the what if for you guys now. Like, I'm trying to think like you and thinking of all the possibilities that will make you to be worried about your audience staying. Okay, so there are different types of conflict, and that's what we want to contrast rather. And contrast, excuse me, and contrast is non-negotiable. You guys, contrast is non-negotiable. Please, let's wake up the group. I only have 17 people online. Less than 20. Please, let's wake up the group and let's have more people like the video. If you've not liked the live stream and you're here, if you've not liked it before, please click the like button. There's a like button up there. Please click the like button. Okay? So contrast is non-negotiable, you guys. There are different types of contrast, and I'm going to read it out. Then we're going to take some examples so that you can understand it, okay? So contrast is basically your visual language, both visual language and color. Okay, it is non-negotiable. You must have contrast in everything that you're doing. That is what basically will keep your characters or your audience engaged. So character contrast, that is, if you're looking at character contrast, for example, this one is you should already start with this one. Anytime you're building your characters, always start with this. And I told you that before when it came to your building of your characters, right? Don't duplicate characters. Make sure your characters are opposite of each other. That will automatically on its own cause a conflict, right? So for example, the timid woman versus the aggressive world she must navigate. So of course, we're going to talk about conflict. There are different types of conflicts too, right? So we're going to talk about conflict, but this one should be at your, how do we call it? My mother would say, put something in your left hand and never let it go. So this one, contrast, carry them, put them for your left hand, cover them, hide them. You must always use contrast. Contrast in setting, contrast in time, contrast in visuals, right? Tonal contrast. So we're going to give examples of all of them, don't worry. So setting contrast, we have already talked about character contrast. I will come back to it. Setting contrast is basically the conversation about whatever is happening, right? So like, for example, where they're talking about love in a place where there's violence. That is really, really contrasting. How can you be telling me I love you when the house is burning? Like, seriously, it doesn't make sense, right? But that alone makes your film visually appealing, right? So time contrast is basically about cutting between past and present to show how far things have fallen, right? So you can contrast before and after. Usually we use this for flashbacks. Whenever we're doing flashbacks, we'll show, I know that we focus on in Nollywood, we focus more on what do we call it? Characters who only, maybe before they are wearing afro, now they are wearing bone straight, right? But that goes beyond that. When we say time contrast, it goes beyond that. It also is about the architecture. So for example, if I were doing the Emotan story in a modern day, I will show that a woman from the moat, woman that used to walk in mud, when they had moats, when they had mud castles and the rest, came into this world today, and our architecture is different. Maybe before, they used to, if she's a royalty, they used to ride camel or horse, right? By the time she comes into the modern day, now we ride what? Cars. And even beyond that, now we even have self-driving cars, So time is something that you can also always use for your contrast. Do you see that I just gave an example swiftly here? That was not even in the manual, right? Visual contrast, very important. You must be able to play around lighting for your film. You should know that already, coming from traditional filmmaking. Now, it is even more beautiful because here you're not going to manage lights. You're not going to say how many lights we get. Okay, so do one like this, do one like. No, this one, you don't need to manage your lights. you can actually create the kind of light you want for your film. How cinematic should your film be? So darkness versus light, stillness versus chaos, richness versus poverty, right? You can do it in your visual contrast. Okay, well, I'm going to talk more about it. I'm going to give examples, but tonal contrast is also another type of way to use contrast. See, contrast is the whole of your film, right? As soon as you get your story, as you are plotting any other thing, you dey plot the scene by scene, you dey plot the characters, you must be plotting contrast. When you look at your scene by scene, ask yourself, what is contrasting in this scene? If there is no contrast, shake it up. If there is no contrast, shake it up. Shake it up. Then your story will be boring to your audience. That is what will make your story boring. I know a lot of people were saying last week that's boring. Yeah. Trust me, if there is no contrast, it will be boring. So now let's go back up, right? And take some examples. I'm going to give you some examples so that you can begin to think about it. So you open your story. Let's start with character contrast. You open your story, and the first thing we see, a very skinny man, very skinny, very, very skinny. Then the love of his life is a giant, humongous, very big, chubby, robust woman. Oh my goodness. Guys, tell me why your audience will not stay to watch and see. Guy, what in this guy they do? Like, what is he doing? Does he want to kill himself? You guys, can you see that? Character contrast. A very skinny man. And then the very first thing, we now see him in a chop life with a very humongous, chubby, round, beautiful, chubby lady. And they are in love. Character contrast. You must always think about that. Always. Your characters must not look alike. Now, I know that normally, for normal Nollywood film, right? We usually cast our friends for characters. We don't used to think about it whenever we are doing this thing. We'll just go to audition. When we go to audition, we'll now look at the finest girl and carry the finest girl and put in our film. Guys, let's do things as professionals. No, we are not doing that with AI filmmaking. Don't do that. Right? Be very, very strict with your characterization. Be very, very strict. This will not be budget no day. Maybe we use the person where they are available. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. Okay? Don't do that. Focus on what is necessary to move your story forward. Go with contrast. That is exactly what we need. Or a very tall, huge, muscular guy, gym bro, right? And he's now dating a dwarf. Nothing wrong with dating a dwarf. You guys, please don't get me wrong, but I'm trying to show you the contrast, right? She's smallish, she's small, and he's very tall and big. Do you understand? That's the contrast I'm trying to talk about. You guys, please don't misinterpret it. Okay? So basically, just imagine that. That is what we call character contrast. Always think about it. Not be my friend. Oh, I won't use my friend. No. It is about what will move your story forward. For example, I know that in a lot of African, for example, if you're playing like Femi Osofison's film, right? His stage plays, you would realize that or Wole Soyinka's stories, you realize that things like the drunk, right? There is a drunk, that is, probably hitting the gong. There is probably, whatever, like there is always maybe the cripple, there is the drunk, there is this. The moment you open the scene, something stops you in your track. So you must always think about that. What will stop my audience in their track? Even before the characters open their mouth to talk, what can they see that will make them stop? That is what I'm talking about. So your characters instantly gives you that. Okay? Your characters instantly gives you that. So I hope that is clear. Please, nobody, if you don't understand, ask question. No, don't go and quote me and say, SAB says that we should use, please understand what we're talking about. Character contrast is a thing. Okay? It could also be poor versus rich. Like a very rich woman, right? A very rich woman, very dressed with her robust, she's dressed with everything. And then next to her is her very poor sister. Probably she has used the sister's destiny, right? And the sister is there looking very sickly, not eating and so on. So that you guys, I'm giving you another example so that you not say, she only said, slim guy and big woman, and then she said dwarf, and no. There could also be the contrast of a very rich, robust woman and then a very poor, skinny, tattered woman. That can also be your character contrast, okay? So character contrast is, you must plot it from now. Start to understand it. It is important. It is very important. This one not be say budget no day. And the only actor way day now I use. No. At this point, you should begin to think like a professional. Okay? With AI, there is no limit. There is no bias. We're not going to say, no, this thing like now make I do this one. Don't manage. Do your best and give your best every time. Now you understand character contrast. I hope that everybody understands character contrast now. I hope that we all understand character contrast. Okay, we're moving to setting contrast. So setting contrast, I already talked about it. Setting contrast is, for example, imagine a poor lady. For example, this one is actually popular on YouTube. You will see a poor lady. She will stand in front of a very big mansion, and she go dey dream. If na me get this house, hey, wetin I go do for this house? Na me go da. She will be dreaming. She'll be telling us her dreams, right? And she's very poor. We can see the contrast between herself and the building. It is rubbish. Like, she has a tattered hair, she has a tattered everything, but she is dreaming close to a big house. Right? So the setting is completely off from this person, right? You can also look at it from the point of view of probably a very rich person that goes to build their mansion where everybody has hot. It is also a setting. Like, you can also call that like it is also a contrast, right? And I also gave you the example of, for example, you're talking about love when the building is on fire. Or earthquake they happen. I just want to tell you that I love you. If I don't tell you now, just in case we die, I want you to know, that already creates that, is that the place? Normally when people they propose, they do them big, now they do them for balcony, like all those on a yacht, you be proposing. But yeah, you are proposing where earthquake they happen. You understand? Hellfire, and you are proposing. That's not it. That's not what we are looking for. But that alone that is what your audience is looking for. That is what your audience is looking for. So don't think about it and say, no, think about what is the worst case scenario. Where can I put my characters now? Right? In the old days, we used to have this one, and I think Nollywood helped to promote it a lot too. Like people making out in a bush. You guys, you know that we have always had, nobody wants to talk about it, right? But imagine, say, all those lovers that time, they now carry them and say, this is where they want to go and make out, and they made out in a bush. That is so unconventional. That is not where that kind of thing happens. But guess what? They were able to situate it there, and people will talk about it. That is what makes your film memorable. Now, people can talk about your film even after the film has ended. So always think about it. When you use character contrast, you will also use setting contrast. Is this where this thing should be happening? Can I change this place up? Instead of every time, polish. Because in Nollywood today, everybody is living luxurious life. Everybody now only indoor, now they shoot. This one, trust me, you can shoot anywhere. You can create your film and your scenes anywhere you want. Let's talk about time contrast. I think we have talked about that before, time travel. And I love the fact that we already played the what if game. So you already know about time travel. So past or present, depending on you, right? You can always come up with the contrast. Like the person that said, if he goes to the future, right, he will be someone from the past. So imagine him coming from the, from the past, and in the past they used to wear, and then he's looking at mobile phones. You can talk to mobile phone and be talking to someone, right? All those things, these are the things that you can do, creating that time contrast, right? And he's looking at you and saying, why are you talking to that? Or someone who is very insecure. He has been insecure from the past. Then he comes into the future and siren they blow. He goes, hey, they're coming. It shows that he comes from a different time, right? It shows that he comes from a different time. So you can always use time contrast. Now, visual contrast, you guys, you should already know this one. We always use this one in most of our films and our content today, right? Visual contest, visual contrast, dark and light, stillness and chaos, richness, poverty. We already know this one. Once you are creating your story, you already have that at the back of your mind, right? Then tonal contrast, a moment of humor inside a tragedy. So, for example, someone fell from, I think Hollywood uses this a lot when they are doing their dark humor, right? Someone fell from the sky, broke their neck, and then two people are just standing and looking and saying, oh, they were chasing him. Maybe they are the FBI itself, and they were chasing the person. And then the next thing, the two agents will just stand and say, wow, I didn't see that coming. Like, seriously, right? They just say something that is off, right? They were chasing this bad guy. The bad guy thought, the best way to avoid them is to jumps off the building, instead of them to be concerned and like, oh my God, did he just end his life? He should have just thought about going to jail, But they will just stand and say, wow, I didn't think that would end like that. He really gave it his good shot. Something like that. Just, So basically, tonal contrast also works, you guys, right? So yeah, those who understand dark humor would understand that. Okay, so do we have questions before we move on? Can we give examples of contrast? Can we give examples of these contrasts? We've talked about 5 contrasts, 5 ways to use contrast here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We've talked about 5 ways to use contrast. Is there any way you can think about, using contrast? Let me check the chat. I see that the chat is alive. Okay. So let me see, a lot of, see if there are questions so that we can move forward. Okay. So if your question is not answered on the live stream, please carry your question. Don't hold it. Take it back to the group. If your question is not answered here, right? We cannot answer every question. If not, we'll not leave here, right? So just copy your question, take it back to the group so that we can see every question, okay? What if he actually is, okay, so this is our what if, okay, so I scroll back up, okay, characters go back in time to change their, okay, contrast is non-negotiable, yes, please, it's non-negotiable. Put your contrast in your pouch, yes, please. Okay, contrast the whole film, yes, that is correct. It seems like the Reformers Art Institute is the only person here on this chat too. They are like the scribe. I hope you guys are reading their chat. Anytime you see the Reformers Art Institute, please read their comments, because their comments is like check. Those things that you might forget, they are writing it there. So if there's no contrast, the story will be boring. Contrast is the character varieties. Contrast makes the story interesting. Yes. Okay, so Femi Osofisant does that a lot with his works. Yes, he does. So, okay, so someone says it's clear. I hope I'm not seeing questions anyway. So we can move forward, right? Okay, so we are moving forward, you guys. Okay, so we're moving forward. All right, so now we understand contrast, yeah? We now understand contrast. These are some examples. Yeah, I just put down some examples here. So we are moving. All right. So yes, this is something that works very, very well in your film. And I know as traditional filmmakers, we go carry costume, give our sister, our brother. People will not understand color. People will not understand this thing just so that, we cut costs. So we're going to talk about that now, okay? Okay, someone says I have a question. Please go ahead. The sexless journalist. Let me just say the journalist. Okay, so I'm waiting for your question. Yes, I saw that I have a question, so I want to ask that question. I want to see that question. Please ask the question. If you have the question, please bring your question. Then I didn't see questions up there when I scrolled. So if you have your questions, please drop your questions, okay? Drop your questions. I'm looking forward to this person's question, the journalist's question. Okay, so I'm going to wait for your question. All right. Okay, so color is emotion, you guys. Color also enhances visual contrast. Color also enhances visual contrast, you guys. It also enhances it. Okay, so I see your question here. What is the difference between time contrast and setting contrast? Beautiful question. Nobody asked that question, so let's talk about it. Let's go back there. Okay, so time basically is about the past or the present. Can we see this here? Let me zoom in. So look at it here. Past and present. Like, when is that film happening? Is it modern times? Is it way back, right? Like historic films or whatever? Or is it in the future? Do you see why we played that what if? Right? Do you see why we played that what if game? So the character, if the character probably like the what if that we gave as an example, the sailor comes back to town and everything is normal, that means he came back in his own time. But what if the sailor somehow had encountered something on sea that took him back in time to before his mother, like when his mother was still young, like someone said on this call, right? That means he has gone back to the past. That is time. That is the contrast of time. He is no longer in his time, right? Or like someone says, he comes back and he goes into the future where his wife and his best friend already have a family with twins of 13 years. That is the future, right? So there is the distinction of past, present, or future with time. Doctor Strange does a lot with this. I don't know if you guys have seen Doctor Strange. Doctor Strange has a lot of time bending. They play with time, time. Even with, I think when they did the Avengers also, they had Thor and the rest. They took them back in time. They will come back. Time is a thing. So if you can play with the past, present, or future, that is time contrast. So that means that you are actually showing us probably, okay, there's one film that I watch, a love film. There's a love film that I watch. Let me tell you guys a film quickly. This will help this person with this conflict here, right? There's a love film that I watch. So this guy in the present day bought a desk, like someone, like they were doing, like if you go to Panteka in Nigeria, multiverse, right? Like if you go to Panteka in this, I don't know, like all these talk shops or whatever, I don't know how they call them, you go and buy like an old desk. So the guy is a writer or something and he needed an old desk. So he went to buy an old desk and then he came back only for him to now see a letter from the past inside his desk. The letter was actually just written. The letter was just written 100 years ago. The woman that wrote the letter was still in her time 100 years ago. So the film was separated between his time, which is the modern day, and the woman's time 100 years ago. That is a love story. I saw that love story film like that. They were playing with time in their film, right? They were playing with time. The guy bought the desk in the modern days, and then all of a sudden he discovered that he's exchanging letters with someone who is 100 years in the past. That is, I don't remember the title of the film. Do you understand? So if you can play with the past, present, or future, then you are playing with time contrast. Right? For example, in that love story, the man was telling the woman about his time and the woman was telling him about her time. How medicine is. Like, for example, she has a headache. The guy will say, go and do this, go and do that, go and do that. And in their own time, they were not, women, when they have headaches and the rest, it's like the doctor will need to check them through the, they will raise their skirt up. And, they were, the distinction between medicine of that time and the medicine of his own time. So they had to show us the difference in the times. You will show difference in the car. That means technology has taken over. You will show that medicine has taken shape, all those things. So you must be able to show us the difference between the time. It is not just to say the person traveled to the past and the person still they wear wig. The person still they wear wig. The person still get lipstick. Where they see him? You understand? It's not to tell us that the person goes to the past and they are still using their mobile phone. How are they using mobile phone, Oga? Where they call them, the mast, we go give them internet, satellite. You understand? It is to be very conscious of it. If you are saying you are doing a film in the past, we should be able to see the distinction between the past and the present. Someone from the future that goes to the past would definitely not have mobile network there. Even if they transit with their phone will be out of network because there is no mast. Do you understand? So you must be able to do past and present quality way. Now let's talk about setting. Setting basically is about the place. The place. That means the architecture. So is it happening in one room? Is it happening in a palace? Is it happening in a 3-bedroom? Is it happening in a duplex? Is it happening by the fish side? For example, if you're doing a film that is in the past, right? A lot of things that we need to see in the past takes place around probably the campfire when everybody, that today now in the modern time, everybody is individualistic. Everybody is locked behind their gates, their house, their doors, Nobody is really coming out. Do you understand? Like, You need to also consider that in the old times, people will go to the stream, for example, instead of opening the tap. So in that stream, the stream is a location. The stream is your location. So your setting is your location. For traditional filmmakers, your setting, the setting contrast is the location. So you should be able to show us, for example, like the example that we gave now, for someone who, maybe telling of his love when there's an earthquake or something, yeah, and he's telling her, I love you. Imagine they are on a boat in the middle of the Mediterranean Sea, right? Something like that. That location becomes the setting. That location becomes the setting. For example, they are already surrounded by whales and sharks and the rest, and that is when the guy chooses in that location to start telling of his love. You can choose to do it, maybe they climb up the mountain. You can choose to say they went to a temple. You can choose to say, whatever, wherever you set that scene, that is the setting. Let me look at this. Our journalist, have you gotten your answer? I had to take my time to explain that because I don't want anyone leaving here feeling confused. Okay? Journalist, have you gotten your answer? Are you clear? Let me be sure that journalist is clear so that we can move forward. I'm happy about the chat, you guys. I see all of you, the Reformers, Rose International, Oladuni's Production. I see that. I love the chat. Please keep it going. I love that. I love it. Keep it going. Okay, so the journalist says yes. So I hope you get it now. So setting contrast is basically your location. Time contrast is basically playing about the past, present, or future, right? Depending on when you get your time right, then you can now, when you get your location right or you get your time right, you can now get your location right. Okay, get the time right and then get your location right. Okay, so we're talking about colors, you guys. Excuse me. We're talking about colors. Color is emotion. Color actually helps to give you visual contrast, right? This one, you can play with this one. I love this one a lot. Guys, anybody that knows my productions, oh my God, you will not miss something. If you miss any other thing, you will not miss this color. You will not miss it. You will not miss it in any of my. I love colors because colors carry the story. Colors carry your story. So you know how, I know that some of you already know this one. So when somebody is mourning, some of them you see them wear black. A lot of times in every film, we see them wear what? Black. It shows what? Grief. But in some certain cases where someone is probably into their religion too much, do you know when they are grieving, they wear white as well? That is up to you, depending on the type of story you're telling, cultural story, time story, whatever, right? So color is your emotion. Before your character speaks, before we hear the music, before a single word of dialogue is uttered, your color has already told your audience who your character is, how to feel. Right? I told you guys about this before. Your film has a film feel. Your film has a look. Your film has a feeling. Your film has a tone. Your film should have that, carry that, what do we call it? People should be able to say, oh, this one a comedy, this one a horror, this one a action. Even though I know that some of us are really very adventurous and we like to bend the rules, right? But please know the rules before you bend them, right? Contrast is not just decoration. It is the difference between your content that is watched, the content that is watched, and the content that is felt. Okay, so please don't play with your contrast. Always think about contrast. How can I create contrast? That should be your goal. Remember, you are the one being the director, the producer, the writer, the everything for your story. Remember, I told you guys that. So your AI is making you all of these things. The only thing that will not be replaced is the editor, right? So you must find a way to what? Create contrast. If you create a scene, once you have written that scene, come up and ask yourself, where is the contrast in this scene? How do I create contrast in this scene? You must create contrast. The worst way or the simplest way to actually do it for me is colors. Make sure we can see colors. So for example, You guys know that it is only rich people that can afford some kind of things, right? They can afford any kind of colors that they want, any kind of jewelries that they want. For example, if you see someone wearing gold, a lot of gold, nobody needs to tell you that she is expensive, that she has money, right? But you see another person that is wearing a torn, worn out clothes and the rest, the color is already faded, right? It already tells you something about that person. So color is the easiest way for you to always create contrast, okay? All right, so let's go. What do these colors mean? So you can see this here. Red means urgency, danger, passion, power, blood, the color of stakes. So whenever you're trying to raise the stakes, or you're trying to show that you can dress your character in color, in the color red. So for example, a lot of times when we want to show that, oh, this lady is gonna do something tonight, she's gonna wear what? Red lipstick. In fact, you will see us, we will focus on what? The close-up on her lips as she's rubbing the red lipstick. She will rub that red lipstick, or we'll show where she's what? She will be dragging her red boots. We'll show it close up on the leg, oh yeah, as she's putting the boot on, or close up on the heels as she's walking. She'll be wearing red heels and she'll be walking. So close up on that. Do you understand? So it is your duty to focus and understand what these colors actually mean. Green is the color of nature, growth, nature, envy, safety. So if you use green in dark tones, like I always do, it means the unknown or the hidden. Like you're trying to create like mystery. Like a lot of times, when you're shooting forest scenes, a lot of you should start thinking about forest scenes. Yes, Africa is built around rainforest and the rest. We have like rainforest, right? So forest scenes, for example, there are some areas, like if you're looking from top down, you're using the aerial shot, right? Your drone to shoot from the top. The leaves will be what? Light green. It will look so sumptuous, so inviting. But by the time you start coming in, it becomes dense. It becomes darker. That's to tell you that in nature, there is mystery. Do you understand? So I want you guys, don't worry, we're going to do all these tests, but I'm trying to, point out one of these things. So you have to understand your camera angles and the rest as well, too. Okay, remember you are the DOP as well of your film. So you have to understand the camera angles. So yeah, so green signifies growth, nature, envy, safety, and of course, when you're using dark tones, it means mystery. That is the unknown or the hidden. So when you're using black usually means power, right? That's why you see a lot of corporate guys, they're wearing black suits, they're wearing black tuxedos. Oh my goodness, MIB, Men in Black, right? They're always on black. The black suit thing, and all these black tie parties, what they call them, black tie, black suit parties that they wear their black tuxedos. When you see mafia black suits, do you understand? Power, mystery, death. I already mentioned the death own, like when someone dies, you see everyone at the morgue or the mortuary or the event, they're all wearing what? Black. The black can be very, right? The black also will show you the level or the status of each of your characters. It also is elegance. The color is the color of what is not said, basically, right? So you want to know more when you see black. You want to know, why is this person on black? You must want to know. That's what black is all about. So orange is the color of energy, creativity, warmth, and in excess, it could be an instability or warning. Right? So that's what black is all about. So when you go to yellow or gold, just like we talked about, when you see someone, wearing gold, nobody needs to tell you that they are rich, that they have money, right? It's a color of warmth, hope, wealth, caution. It can shift to betrayal in shadows. So depending on how your colors can be, it depends on what you're trying to portray by using yellow or gold, right? Blue is the color of calmness, sadness, trust, distance. It's cold when you use it dark. Like if you use a dark shade of blue, that means you're trying to show that there is cold, there is dark. Maybe someone's mindset is really, really skewed, and probably it is also safe to be with this person. So I see this a lot. I think there's a character that wears blue a lot. In his films, what's this guy's name? Jason Statham, right? Okay, so he wears a lot of black, like black turtleneck and, like all those diverse clothes. But usually, it either wears a deep blue as well. right? So you can see that. So white is the color of purity, emptiness, new beginnings, right? So usually when you want to show divinity, right? I use this also in Emotan when I did my film Emotan, right? She was wearing the robe, the white robe, right, and walking in a dirt. So that's like when you're walking in red mud after rain has fallen, right? The ground is really dirty. But imagine someone walking inside that mud wearing white. What does that tell you, right? So the white already shows you that this person is, going through maybe emptiness, or by the time she went to when she went to consult the divine, it shows purity. The divine is also pure. So we usually use white for purity, new beginnings. So if you're using hash lights, when you're using white in hash, all of that, it could also mean clinical, right? Like all this in white lights, like somebody transited from here to there, like you see that blinding light. It's either you're using that camera flash, like boom, in the person's face. And MIB, they use that a lot. That's Men in Black. They use that a lot. They use it to wipe your memory, or they use it to transit someone. So the thing would just come white light vam in your eyes, and then you're like, what just happened? So you transit from where you are to where you want to be. It can also be used in flashbacks and the rest, or when someone is dying and they're doing an operation for them in the hospital, you use the white light. So that's what we say here. If you're using the hash white light, it could also mean clinical coldness. Okay. And then purple, nobody needs to tell you guys now. Purple is the purple of the color of royalty, spirituality, and transformation. Is the color of the supernatural, really. So basically, that's it. So you guys can see here. This is just basically a depiction of my own, like I paired these colors here and there just to give you some feeling of what these colors might be able to do in your film, right? So if you're using this is colors in African visual storytelling. Use your cultural colors. So these colors are not carved in stone. You can choose to go with any color that works for your film and your story, right? So I'm looking at this here. We have orange and gold, Ankara in a modern city. This is like, you can see that there. And then we have this one here, the blue and yellowish. That's like indigo blue of the Tuareg. I think there's a Tuareg people. And then, there's the red and dust. That's like red and brown. That's red earth of Ile-Ife. That's like our local red mud, right? And then there's the yellow and green, which is gold against forest green. So usually you would see most of this. This is how your colors can actually come to life. Okay. So the reason we're talking about colors, you guys, we are moving from contrast now. We're already stepping into costumes, because whenever I know that usually in traditional filmmaking, costumes are determined by budget. But in AI filmmaking, you guys, please think about it and think about what actually fits the scene, what actually fits the costume, the character. What's the story about? So don't cheat yourself out of the opportunity of creating real theater. Okay, real theater is basically about thinking about your costume, the timing, everything actually affects your story. So now you already understand visual, contrast and the rest. Your colors also help to create that visual contrast. So as AI creators telling African stories, your color palette is cultural language, okay? Every shade you choose is a conversation with your audience's memory. So usually sometimes when you create a film, some opapa them that have been there before, they'll say, oh, this is so accurate. How did you do this? So you want to be able to connect to your people instead of creating a story and then they'll be wondering, are you sure this person is the person understands what we are saying? Does this person really understand our culture? Do you understand? Because some things you might use a color, right? If you do not tell us that it is comedy, sometimes it will be an insult to some people, right? You might go and use something now, and the people that you are trying to depict, they'll say, no, this is not us. Is this person insulting us? Because you don't know which one you have gone to do now that will become an insult to them. So you have to be conscious of it when telling your story. So costume, what are we talking about when we talk about costume? Costume does what? It reveals the status. Costume reveals the status of your characters. or your story. Basically, it's basically around your characters, because it is your characters that wear the costume. Costume is whatever your character wears. Anything that your character will be wearing in that film. For example, when you have your actors, after doing your audition for your actors, you get your actors and you bring them to the place, right? And they don't wear their normal clothes. They don't wear their normal clothes to act. You have to get them costumes, right? I know that some of us, yes, we don't do chua work before we go wear our own clothes. But even when you're wearing your own clothes, they will tell you, do you have agbada? Bring that agbada. I know that they don't used to bother about color, because of course, if you're not paying the person good money, you cannot tell them to go and sew a particular color of agbada, but they will tell you, you're going to be playing a chief, or bring an agbada. So they don't care about the color, but you, please care about the color, right? So if the person is going to be wearing an agbada, please make them wear an agbada of a particular color, depending on their status, right? A baale will be different from a normal drunk who went to borrow agbada. It will be different, okay? So you have to understand, like a chief basically will not wear the same agbada as that's basically what I'm saying, right? A regular person. That's what I said, when I said that. So costume reveals the status of your characters, right? What they can afford, what they choose to show, and what they are deliberately hiding. Your costume will show it. Costume also reveals self-image. How do they see themselves versus how the world actually sees them? So, for example, if you're creating a film where your character is hiding, maybe your character is a billionaire and your character chooses to behave like a pauper, definitely their costume will change, right? Their costumes will change. They will not be wearing billionaire clothes when they are trying to pretend to be poor people. So costumes reveals the self-image, you guys, okay? Costume also reveals the arc. For example, someone who was an addict and is going through therapy, by the time they have recovered, they will definitely transform in their looks. So their costume will show you that. Okay, so it shows that this person has gone from phase 1 to phase 2 to phase 3. Whatever phase you want to move your character from, your costume will show it. When a character changes their appearance, should also change. Their appearance should also change with them. The clothing tracks the transformation. So you guys, please don't forget that, okay? So describe your character's costume in every image prompt. Yes. So when we get into prompting, this is something that you will always encounter. This is something you will always encounter. You will always describe your character's costume in every image prompt as a story decision. You will always. It is not as a fashion, as character, not as style, but as the meaning of your character. Okay? All right, so let's go. Pick one color for your story world. What emotion does it carry and where does it appear on your character or in the setting? Okay, so I don't know if we have the people who did their assignments, if they are on the call. If you're on the call, please, let's do this assignment here. We can try and do this now. We can try and do this. If you did your assignment before, pick that story and tell us, what is the story world? What's the story that you submitted during the weekend? Where is the world? Where was it set? Where did it set? Where did you set your story? Is it a modern time? Is it past? Is it present? Tell us in the chat. Then what emotion does your story carry? And where does it appear? Who are your characters in the setting? So we can do this. There's just a lot to do here. But let's move forward. We have just about 30 minutes to go, and I don't intend to finish the whole 30 minutes. Okay, so contrast, you guys, we're just trying to redefine terms so that we can, not forget it. Contrast is the deliberate difference that creates meaning and tension between elements. Contrast is the deliberate difference that creates meaning and tension between elements. Color is the emotional instruction you give the audience before anyone speaks. Please take notes. Costume, the character's identity, status, and arc visible before a word is said. Basically, it is what your character wears that creates your character's identity, their status, and the arc. That means their mindset wherever the story is, wherever we see your character in the story, it shows us where they are in their mind, okay? The setting is the world that shapes the character and carries the story's pressure, okay? That is the setting. So for the journalists that was asking about the setting. This is basically the world. Wherever your scene is set, wherever the world is at that time, that is your setting. Okay. Lighting is basically the mood that tells the audience how to feel about what they are seeing. Remember, we talked about dark versus light and all of that. So yes, you will have to create, if you're creating a cinematic film, cinematic lighting is different from content creation lighting. Content creation, you can just put one ring light and, put your face inside the camera and shoot. That's talking head. Everybody will see you. They will hear you, with your ring light. But when you're lighting a particular scene, shadows and lights coexist. And in balance, you must find a way to balance it. So anytime one is distorted, if we see light is more than dark, then the story is better. If we see that dark is better than light or greater than light, then there is mystery in that story. I'm not talking about lighting today. Composition is where the subject sits in the frame. So yes, you will come across a lot of this, right? Composition, right? So I'm sure that traditional filmmakers already know this, right? So whatever you see on the screen here, this is composition. Let us do a short, example of composition. So composition is where the subject sits in the frame. So if I bring my image to sit here, this is the frame. Everything you are seeing right now is the frame. But once I move my image, I can move my image here. I'm telling you to focus here. I can move my image here. I'm telling you to focus here. I can move my image here. I'm telling you to focus here. Then I can decide to, imagine we are creating a contrast. Now look at this versus this. In my frame, you can see this now. This is what framing means and composition. How do you place things on the screen? When you are shooting, when you are generating your images, how do you place things on the screen? That is basically composition. What the audience will see and how you place it, that is composition. That's what we're talking about. So I hope someone is getting this now. I'm trying to explain this so that someone who is not a filmmaker understands it. So whenever you hear composition, don't feel like, they're speaking jargon, they're speaking big grammar. I just showed you the example now. Your characters, anything that you're seeing basically on the screen in your film, anything that your audience will see, and you put it on that screen deliberately, that is the composition. You choose to balance things anyhow you like on that screen. Remember, everything is going together to tell a story. So it is you who will do that. Okay, so every prompt you write is a visual language and decision. Is a visual language decision. The audience reads your visual choices before they hear a single word of your story. Before they hear a single word of your story. The audience reads your visual choices before they hear a single word of your story. Please, in case you forget everything else, don't forget this one. Anything that they end up seeing on your screen that appears in your film, whether you made a mistake about it, we will assume you knew and you put it there. So we will judge you for it. If you made a mistake by putting something on your screen, we do not care. You are the filmmaker. We will judge you for whatever we see on your screen. Okay? And I think we all do that. So the complete storytelling system, you guys, let's run through it. This is how we end today's conversation, right? So if you have questions, please start dropping the questions now so that I can tackle it as we end. So this is the whole engine. This is the whole system, you guys, the complete storytelling system. Okay? The container. The container is what? 3-act structure plus your story tropes. That is the container of your film. Okay, that is the container of your film. This shapes every story. This is the shape that every story lives in. That is the container, right? It's just like a car, right? So you must create the 3 acts, beginning, middle, and end. Then your story tropes. Do you choose what kind of story do you want to tell? Then the world. That means that's like the time, place, and mood. It is the first creative decision before any scene is written. You are the one that would choose. Do I want to tell an epic story? So, for example, when I wanted to tell Emotan, like a lot of us, I know that we do that a lot as traditional filmmakers too. I want to tell this. I want to do epic story. I want to do an epic story. Yeah, some people will reach out to me and say, please, can you write an epic story for me? Can you write a Disney story for me? So you can choose from the onset to say, I want to do a time travel story. I want to do a sci-fi. I want to do a this. It is your choice. So you decide the world already, right? Then you will now add the engine. You will not add the engine. The engine is what? The hook, chaos, conflict, and twist. The hook is your beginning. The chaos and conflict is what? Your middle. And the twist is your end. This is what makes the story move and the audience to stay. Then your characters. Your characters are the ones that have the want, need, and fear. The characters are the ones that show you what they desire, how much they desire it. They will tell you who is standing in their way, all of that. You will see that from the characters. Then the visual world. Of course, we have talked about the visual world today. Contrast, color, costume, setting. You now understand all of these things. So by the time we begin to tackle most of these things as we go forward, nobody should say, oh, I don't understand, what is this one? Why are they saying this one? Okay. This is your complete storytelling system. Every class from here on is an application of what you now hold. Okay. Every class going forward, we will be talking about these things. So I hope that it will no longer be strange to you. Okay. It will no longer be strange to you. So we have finished for today. So look at this. This is what will end the screen on. And I'm hoping that there are questions in the chat so that I can go and check the questions. Let me leave this on the screen as we end. So that anyone who, you want to take a shot or you forgot something, you can easily look at it and understand. Okay, so any questions? Are we all good? Did we get the questions? Did we get everything today? Are we on point? Is our foundation solid now? You know that if you want to begin to build a skyscraper, it starts with the foundation. If you want to build bungalow, it starts with the foundation. If you want to build, we still have like 6 months to go. So we're not building cherewere. We're not building, one room. We are building like a skyscraper. We're not building, you understand? We're building a big building. So we have to take some class, we have to dig this foundation really, really deep, so that when we go into the in-depth parts of these courses, it will really make sense to us. Okay. So I hope that we get this. If you have any questions, please take it to the group. We'll be ending now. Please take it to the group. Any question I did not answer here, we'll take it to the group, okay? So we're going to continue the what if. I'm going to start the what if on the diary session so that we do not flood the group, so that we can allow people continue, submitting the assignment. So we have another assignment today. Please cooperate with your mentors. Please cooperate with your mentors. They are trying so hard to coordinate things. Okay. So please cooperate with them. All right. So I'm looking at the chat. I'm waiting. If there are any questions, I would answer the questions before we go. And if I cannot answer your question on the live stream, please put your questions in the group. I would answer your question in the group. Okay. If you are not yet part of AI Filmmakers Network and you're watching this, maybe you watch the replay, please check the link of our videos. There is a link to join AI Filmmakers Network. Okay, I am the founder and creative director of SAB Studios NG and also the founder of AI Filmmakers Network. We are bringing this particular AI filmmaking workshop in partnership with Oladuni Production. You can see them in the chat. Please go support that channel as well. Help them grow. Okay, and we are actually working together to make sure that we project African stories utilizing foreign technology. Yes, we are hoping that one day Africa will have our own technology, but in the meantime, while the world is having conversations around AI, Africa is not sitting it out. Africa is actually getting involved doing this. All right. Okay, so yes, I see questions here. If a poor character becomes wealthy but feels guilty about it, what costume choices and color palette would best communicate that transformation to the audience? That they are feeling guilty about it. So it is left for you. Are they still acting poor? If they're actually poor, but they are wealthy. So there are two choices here. They either choose to dress wealthy or they choose to remain poor, right? So how were they dressing when they were poor? They will keep dressing like that. As long as they did not carry that money to go and spend it on something else, they will continue dressing as they are poor now, Abi, right? But once they start choosing to dress, rich and so on, because you didn't say the person is trying not to be wealthy, but they feel guilty. So I'm thinking this person has not even opened the money or touched the money or gone to withdraw the money. So basically they are still living in their tatteredness. So they should keep feeling guilty, right? They should not wear better clothes. So let them keep wearing their tattered clothes, okay? Okay, so I still don't understand how the diary session works. So basically, what you get after every session, you get an assignment. The assignment should be done on the WhatsApp group. The assignment should be done on the WhatsApp group. When you submit your assignment on time, you get feedbacks directly from me. But after every session, you get 2 links. You get 2 links or 3. Okay, so the first one, either you get the slides for the day, you get the slides for the day, and then you would, if you don't get the slides for the day, that means we did not finish the subject of the day, right? But if we finish the subject of the day, that means you get the slides, right? But if you do not get the slides, don't worry, you will always get what? Your assignment of the day. The assignment is to practice what you have learned. For example, what we did over the weekend, people were writing their stories and they were getting feedbacks, right? So basically you will get that every time. After every class, you will get that. Once you get your assignment, you will also get the link to the diary session. The diary session, like I have said, everybody from here, we're not talking just show, we're talking showbiz, right? So we're trying to build people who understand storytelling and will earn with storytelling. If you're here to just learn storytelling and filmmaking and you're not here to make money, that is okay. No problem, don't join. But if you're here to, learn and also get involved and make money, maybe that is your desire, then please jump on it. What are we doing? We are preparing your page, any of your page. That's why you see us, we are running both the YouTube and the X alongside. So please do your assignment. Your assignment helps you to achieve the goal of learning storytelling. That is what the assignment does. It achieves the goal for you. But the diary session shows both your growth and also primes your social media, particularly your X, for the time when you are ready to monetize it. That is what that is doing for you. So a lot of people who have already been jumping on my chats, they will see that some people are even engaging even with the posts that I post normally without even the diary session. They jump on the diary session and they jump on the diary session and they do other things, engage with my post there. What will happen to these people? The day we will tell you guys, launch your channel, your X. Guess what? These people who are already working on their X now will have more favor with the algorithm than someone who is just starting. So that's why we have been telling you guys, do that, okay? It is your choice at the end of the day. Like we always say, we can only lead the horse to the river. We can't force it to drink. All right. So I hope you understand now. Okay, that's for those that say they don't understand what the diary session is all about. The diary session comes with a question. You will click the link, just click the link that was shared to you on the group. Go there, answer your question. You can write in the comment section. If you answer in the comment section, it is good because other people can see your answer and they can click and follow you, right? But you can also choose to quote it, which is what I told you to do already, because that will show up on your own page, right? You quote it and answer. When you answer, you are talking like an authority, a storyteller. That would help to enhance and boost your page to show that, okay, this person is a thought leader in this area, storytelling or AI, right? So that is what that will do for you. So jump on it if you're interested. All right, so that's for the person who was saying they don't understand what the diary session is all about. Let me see which other questions are here. Okay, so mine happened in the present day. Okay, Okay, I don't think there are any other questions. I noticed you only reacted to one of my quotes on the diary session. I did. Probably I did not see your other response. Once I see, I always respond, you guys. I always respond. I either like it, and but once I see it, I'll definitely respond. I think related to mine as well. The first diary session. Okay, so beautiful. Let's go. Prime your pages. That is how the day we will say, activate. You're not going to be starting from scratch. You know what to do, right? You will already have the favor of the algorithm. Show up every day. Whatever you learn, whatever you just discover, go there and write it. It sets you up as as an authority, because the algorithm begins to take note of you. You will not be a beginner again. Once we just say activate like this, move, okay? That is the benefit. Can a fresh person join this class? Someone wants to know. Yes. If a fresh person can join, please chat the organizer up. Oladunis Productions, they're in charge of administration and getting new members on board. Please chat them up, okay? They have been tagged on the group. Please talk to them. Go and send them a DM quickly. I think you already responded before now. All right, so thank you everybody for being part of today's class. We'll be back again on Wednesday. Please, after this class, expect the assignment of the day. The assignment is to be done in the group. Please don't do it in documents and share. My phone is getting filled up with lots of documents, okay? And when you share in documents, right, other people do not learn. They don't see the mistakes that you have made. So if you share it inside the group, people will learn. People will learn from you. By the time I give feedback, some people will read that feedback and correct their own. So share it on the group. That is for your assignment. Then the other one will be more of the diary session. You know what to do already. Those who are already doing that know that. If you still have questions, drop it on the group. So yes, we are continuing the what if, you guys. I want to see more of your what ifs. Have a blessed rest of your day today, and please cooperate with your mentors. They are here to serve and work with you. Have a blessed rest of your day.